Don't worry, Gandhi. Your secret is safe with me. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Clown Funding Crowd Down, and where we take a look at every single board game campaign, finishing up in the next week. We got a relatively small week this week. We're going to go back and check out some of the things that we missed last week. One of the things that has now crossed over $1 million. This is episode 101. If you've joined for episode 100, well, now we're getting to the real cream of the crop where I know what I'm doing, finally reading through all the rule books. But first, before we begin, we've got a new patron to thank. Huge thanks goes out to Jessica for jumping on board the room and board train. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you to all of my patrons. As always, thank you to everybody who is watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, posting flyers of my face around their city. I appreciate it. It's not the best marketing technique because it's just pictures of me going, and basically, or anything that you might see on a room and board thumbnail, because I can't take them seriously. But I appreciate you still posting them all around. I was a bit shocked to find that my face was being posted all over milk cartons, saying, "Have you seen this man?" My mother was quite worried when she got her daily delivery of milk from the milkman, who coincidentally looks a lot like me, but we're not going to unpack that for right now. But thanks to everybody who supports the channel in whatever way you do. I appreciate you a ton. And if you're here for the MINDBUG giveaway, well, good. And that's going to happen at the end of the episode. And I'm filming this a little bit earlier because my parents aren't going to be in town. And so I will make sure to edit this in right near the very end of the editing process, and so that it can give, a few more people a chance to win a copy of MINDBUG. And don't worry if you don't win this one, because there is another giveaway happening which is associated with the MINDBUG review that I'm going to try to have gotten out before this video. I know I said I'd take a break, but their pledge manager is closing, and so it kind of feels relevant to get that information out there. And then I'll take a half break. Take a half break and a half break. There's no breaks. I've been filming for other things. Speaking of which, just remembered that I have an interview scheduled for tomorrow, so I'm glad I'm doing this today. But let's take a look at the week. We've got a pretty light week, but we're starting off with Shadows of Brimstone. I assume you'll be able to late pledge for this. I missed this one in last week's episode, and my lovely patrons wanted me to look at it, so of course, I'm gonna look at it. So let's check this one out. 2 new Shadows of Brimstone core sets, Lost Tombs of Kamuntet and The Impossible Hell Train. It's a cooperative dungeon crawler board games. Let's see what they have to offer. Awesome. I love that video. It was a great video. You can see a lot of passion behind the creators. Really thrilled for them that they've had such great success already. Good job, Shadows of Brimstone. I remember Shadows of Brimstone in terms of me seeing it for sale and seeing the giant coffin-sized box, and I feel like that's what you're going to be getting in these 2 giant adventures. The Hell Train, the Impossible Hell Train, obviously sounds very funny to me. And I love here that right on the box says 1 to 4 players. They do say up to 6 heroes in the video, so maybe you can do it if you have more heroes and expanding it. But like in terms of dungeon crawlers, I always find you never want to play with more than 3 to 4, really. It just, your turns become so long, and especially if you have to manage the AI deck too, that just gets into a boring waiting game, really. But yeah, really like that video. Gave a good breakdown of the quick little gameplay loop and how you're going to explore things, and then highlighted what they were personally excited about in terms of creating this game. Let's see if there's a rule book here. So Scarab level and Railroad level, they both are 120 bucks, or you can get both for 290. That doesn't seem like the right jump that I wanted to see. You can get an alternate gender mini, sure. I mean, gender's a construct, but whatever. And I think, like, the difference between these 2 things, if you're not a huge Shadows of Brimstone fan and you know you don't want both of them, and perhaps you don't want one because one is still very expensive. I mean, these dungeon crawlers will always run you about 200 Canadian after shipping, which is a lot. It's a lot for me. Here they're going for a pulpy The Mummy style adventure. If you like Egypt and pharaohs, then that's it. Boom, give me that rule book, baby. I want to see how the game plays. Love you, Shadows of Brimstone. Thank you. For me, the theme of the Hell Train just feels more fun, right? You're on this impossible Hell Train. You're traveling heroes riding the railroad through the corrupted territory of the Southwest. Swarms of hellbats darken the sky, while gangs of train robbers lay in wait for the next locomotive carrying precious darkstone and wealthy passengers looking for adventure. It seems like a very straightforward dungeon crawler. I don't see anything that's really outside the realm of normal. You're going to have your villains. What I do really like is this does the same thing that Barnacles of Dumbledore does, in which that there's this map. Where was it? There's a deck where, trying to find a picture for you all. Well, here's the game setup. There's a deck over here, which is sort of the map tiles, and you're going to flip one over to explore into a new realm. And so you're always going to have this different varied map using the tiles as you explore through for any specific scenario, which I do really like. I think that's always neat. It keeps it fresh, keeps that replayability. You don't know what rooms and what shapes are going to happen. And then there are encounter tiles that are not associated with those map tiles. So it'll be a different encounter for each room. Sometimes it'll be a fight, sometimes you'll find some items. A really dungeon crawly exploration-based game that seems pretty standard. You're rolling, chucking d6 dice. The number of dice is determined by your stats. It's like, hey, you got 3, you get to roll 3 dice. And you run around punching monsters in the face and doing your best. So all in all, seems okay. I mean, the fact that, you know, one of the characters in this rulebook is called the Indian Scout and is a native isn't the best. Not great for the Swamps of Death, but seems like a very standard dungeon crawler. That being said, it just seems standard, right? Like, even though these seem like fun minis, etc., it just feels like a very standard dungeon crawler that doesn't necessarily innovate in a way that I feel like a lot of these large scale campaigns and dungeon crawlers are doing nowadays. For at least just from my brief look through, it just feels like it's staying the course. It's giving fans more of what they like and more of what they enjoy. And so just know that if it's something that has been drawing you in, it feels like a very standard meat and potatoes style dungeon crawl, so to speak. And I think that's the kind of experience that you will be getting here if you decide to take the plunge. What's shipping like? $20 to $45 to the US, which for the size of box, well, I'm looking at the 20. 20 seems good. 45, yeah, not great. Canada, 30 to 45. I get it for the size of box. It's going to be bigger than like a Command box and less shipping than them. So, well, there you go. But like I said, you always have to think about it on that upper scale. So really, it's $165 US, more than $200 Canadian if you want to pull the trigger on that. For me, while I'm thrilled for them and I'm thrilled people are getting more of what they enjoy, it's not enough to pull me in. It's definitely not enough for me to spend that sort of money on it. But if that interests you, that has already finished, you can see when I'm filming this. So much for my break. But you can see that it does finish, that it did finish last Thursday, but I'm sure there will be late pledges. Let's move on. We're not doing this. To this one, this next one, not safe for anyone. 28 backers have pledged $3,541 for this. Approximately everybody here has spent $123 on this despicable card game. Let's be honest, we've all done shamefully hilarious things. And you're no exception. Ah! This will make you more interesting in a despicable and hilarious way. Remember that time you committed patricide? Tell the room about it. Nobody's listening in, I swear. Nobody's listening in. Just tell it. Just admit it. Just admit what you did. Admit what you did, Dylan. Admit what you did. Nobody's listening. It's fun. It's a fun little, it's just a cute little card game. Admit what you did, Dylan. Remember those slew of break-ins that happened around the tri-state area? Admit it, Dylan. That was you. That was you, Dylan. We have you on camera. And it would be so zany if it really was you, because we recognize it's your hat, the hat that you got for your 5th birthday party. Yeah, ever since you were 5, you've been holding onto this little hat, and you think it makes you unique because you're wearing a tiny little kid's hat on your head, and it doesn't, Dylan. It doesn't. You know what it does, Dylan? It makes you caught on camera. You're caught, Dylan, so you might as well admit to it. I know it was you. I know it was you. You broke my heart. But hey, who are we to judge? Okay, I'm done. I'm done with this. Speaking of not funny card games, How to Win Brexit. This has made its goal. This is a strategic role-playing board game simulating Brexit negotiations. I feel like this is also bad. It was put into the Discord, and so I gotta look at it. Let's see if anybody wanted a 3D figure of Boris friggin' Johnson. That's that buffoon, isn't it? Does anybody want that? Like, why would you want that other than to melt with a magnifying glass? I don't know. But let's move on. Like, you got a lot of tokens here, so I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt here. I'm not willing to give it to you for 59 euros or 87 Canadian plus shipping, but let's see. Experience Brexit negotiations with our engaging role-playing strategic political board game. 16 plus, okay, I like it. I get so hopeful, right? I just get so hopeful all the time that it's really going to come out in a good way. But I bet they're not even going to have a rule book for me. Oh yeah, it's a long enough campaign page. A maximum of 90 minutes to strike a deal. Formulate your own withdrawal agreement. How much money should the UK pay to the EU? Could a court outside of the UK have jurisdiction over UK laws? What should the Irish border look like? Tough questions right there. Citizens' rights. Should 5 million UK and EU citizens keep their acquired rights? No, because you're leaving the EU. Could the UK cherry pick from the 4 freedoms? So is this just a thought experiment? This game is akin to a riveting chess match with endless possibilities. And you'll construct your own withdrawal agreement through this little board by placing tokens on it, like making your own little tech tree, I guess. Oh, but don't worry, this game's not about choosing a side in the contentious Brexit debate. We acknowledge the passion and emotion on both sides. They're good people on both sides, right? And then you get just a bunch of random events which will move some tracks up and down. But they're thrilling, sorry, not random events, thrilling breaking news events. And then you have some action cards that do the same thing. You know what this game reminds me of? Yeah, I don't think I'm getting a rulebook. I think I'm just getting that. And that's not enough. It reminds me of this really weird, like, role-playing game that I played at Origins last year. That was like, we were all part of communist China, and there were nanorobots that we were getting, and we were using those nanorobots, and we have to run around trying to influence the decision. And my whole goal was just to give China healthcare. So I did. I established national healthcare for all the sex workers in China, and I felt really good about it. Shipping details, estimated cost to the EU would be 10 euros. Shipping to other locations is based on the specific location of the pledge. Is it in here? It is in here. And it's going to be Canada, what, like 40? Everything else is 40. Yep, 40 euros to get to Canada. Nah. Anyway, yeah, there were these nano robots, and you just had to run around and, like, do whatever it took to push your own political agenda. And it was very weird because you were given, like, your own goals, and then you just ran around. Like, some goals were just to become leader, to overthrow the power and just get voted in. And so, like, I made deals with whoever. I was like, I don't care. As long as you give national health care, I'll vote for whatever you want, because that was my only goal. Like, that's my only driving force. So that's what this kind of reminds me of, because it says a bunch of role-playing, so I assume you're going to be putting things down with decision charts. No real way, real description of how it actually will work in the nitty-gritty. No rule book whatsoever. And then here these testimonials say, divergent interest, tricky negotiations, right? It's going to be focused on the negotiations. So it feels a lot more like a role-playing game than like a standard tabletop board game, but a role-playing game where you have like a vested interest in just Brexit stuff. So yeah, there you go. I can't really recommend it, but if you're interested, check it out. That's Thursday, August 3rd at 7 a.m. That's when it finishes. Moving along, I want to keep the window open for a breeze, but you may hear smashing in the background. And that's just all my neighbors trying to get in to play games with me. Moving along to Space Alone. Survive on a distant planet and try to complete scientific missions. Raw space adventure in the sequel to Island Alone. And I believe, yeah, somebody mentioned in the comments of the last one that this is the same person who brought you Rollin' Meow, which I thought looked cute. I remember thinking that looked kind of fun. So let's check this one out. You can get a print and play for 5 euros. Blue has blown away its funding goal. I'm excited for this one. So a lot of buzzwords and a lot of crossing off stuff. That's what it's telling you you're going to get. I hope there's a rule book. Sometimes in the print and plays there aren't, but I think Rollin' Meow had one. Or Rollin' Meow at least had like a video that I looked at. There's 3 things. This is your spaceship. This is the island, the space island. That's definitely not just the island, and it's a reprint of that and re-themed. No, it's the space island, also known as a planet. It literally took me that long to remember the word planet. And then there's a bunch of tech tracks you can cross off over here, I guess. Explore a foreign planet, mine the resources, craft items, develop technologies, repair and upgrade your spaceship, survive! I still don't know if this is a solo game or not, though. I would really like to know. Oh, 1 to 4 it says up here. There we go. Feels like it could be a solo game, right? You're just running around on your own planet because you're alone. How to play, here we go. Choose a map and a scenario, that's cool, so there's going to be different maps. Each turn roll 4 dice and use them for actions of your choice. You can move, you can collect resources, you've got to take care of the oxygen and energy levels to survive, develop technologies. Yeah, it just feels like there's a lot of different options. Come on, give me a rule book. Oh, that's cool, you can do an ultimate pack and get a bunch of roll and write print and plays for €17. That feels cool. I know there's not going to be a rule book because no roll and writes ever give them to me. But it's only €5, right? Like, or €8 if you want to extend the story of the conflict with Lunacore. Lunacore being the AI that got sent out into space and then was like, wait a minute, Earth sucks, and cut off all communication with Earth. With which you can't blame the AIs. This doesn't give me enough, personally, to pull the trigger if I didn't ever pull the trigger on a previous one of their games. I just think it's going to be a lot of crossing off a lot of stuff and moving up and down tracks, and oftentimes that's very fun. I just don't know how fun this one will be, how fun the choices will be. It just seems like there's going to be a lot of dice and a lot of decisions to make, and I also don't know how you would interact with each other if you were going to be on the same planet. If you're running around completing things, how that interaction works. I mean, this is all they have as this Kickstarter preview. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. This YouTuber said, yeah, you just roll it, and then you use the pips to do things. And that's exactly the sense, and I like that I get from it. And I'm not saying that, like, sarcastically. Most games boil down to these sorts of easy descriptors. Roll the dice, use the pips to do things. What are the things? You do this sort of stuff, right? But that idea of do things because there's such a plethora of things to do, I don't know, I'm going to watch a bit of this, but I just would rather read it myself. Slick use of the standees, though, just in a print and play. You just have it on either side and you fold it so that it stands up. That seems very well done for print and plays. A hamburger turtle? I gotta show everybody on the YouTube the hamburger turtle. Check this out. It's a hamburger turtle. There we go. I'm sorry, I needed to make that break so that you could see this really cool hamburger turtle that my buddy Lincoln has, who's off screen and you'll never see him. It's true. Yeah, didn't pop in. Great. Oh. It's a bit too small for my head right now. But this is how the cool kids wear it, like Dylan. I'm becoming more and more eccentric by the day. You know, Dylan might have had the right idea with this hat thing. Sound off in the comments. Was Dylan right all along? Is Dylan falsely accused and it should only be accused of bringing fashion to the masses? Let's finish this up and then I'm going to take a break to hang out with Renee and her nephew Lincoln. See? That's Lincoln. He's just a hand. Just a hand. And so it's very easy to take care of. This is a great video. Sir Thikos, great job. Quite well done. Quite enjoying it so far. But yeah, we'll keep it on this image because we can see some things a little bit more in depth. You're gonna have this main map. Basically, you're gonna get this mission, and you're gonna have a number of turns required to complete this mission. How this translates into a multiplayer game, I do not know. It feels like it would be more of a solitaire game, but in order to complete the mission, you have a number of different things. You start with, like, in this one, you start with your engine being broken. You start with no custom rooms on your ship. That's why that's crossed out, this little thing down there. And you're going to move across Mars, going over these resources, picking them up, and then using them to do different things while you use your dice as well. You can use your dice for movement, the pips representing your movement, or you can use your dice to fix things on your ship or give yourself additional bonuses, etc. You have 18 turns and only a certain amount of ship energy, which you have to bolster by doing other things. It seems okay. I mean, it's $5. It's €5 print and play. If you're going to print this out, if you like print and plays, seems potentially pretty solid. So check that out if you're interested. That finishes Thursday, August 3rd at 9 a.m. Let's move along. Who's a lucky dog? I'm a lucky dog for hanging out with all of you. Okay, let's get into it. We got some time. Checking out Lucky Dog, a colorful dice game where the dog always wins. Light on rules with 4 ways to play. Ooh, that cough syrup got a kick. The dog always wins. Oh yeah, this was the design team behind the Big Pig, and I remembered enjoying it because I like saying Big Pig. So let's check this out. Seems pretty simple, judging by that explanation. You're going to roll some dice, and you're going to use your limited rolls to collect cards. There's a number of different... Love if that was clickable. There's a number of different games you can play, they say, but the competitive one would be the one that seems the most interesting, at least to me, how to play. Full rulebook, thank you very much. You just roll dice and try to get the right cards. You can also rotate the card market by 1 card every time. Seems very simple. Shipping $4 to the US, great. $12 to somewhere else, that's okay. And $15. All right, so $19 to get, a few dice and some objectives to roll those dice against each other. If you like Yahtzee, you like the style, I mean, there's no theme. I guess whatever you're rolling, you're doing that to the dog. Hopefully there's no cage match cards in there. That wouldn't be good. I'm going to assume it's only cage match cards, and this dog is like the bunny from Holy Grail, Monty Python, and it's gonna just murder every other animal. You know why the dog always wins? Because it's being put in a cage match with a pigeon, an elephant, a python, these pythons, and an ogre. Dog always wins, baby. Bet on dog. That finishes Thursday, August 3rd at 10 p.m. That was quick. Let's make this even quicker. The Quibbles, a quick and quaintly quirky quard quaim, swap and collect, and make clever combinations to be the first to gather 21 Quibbles. Fun, fast pace for 2 to 5 players. Your quality is assured. This is a game where you're going to be getting up to 21 points, and you're going to trade your cards back and forth in a way that isn't clear to me yet. Your goal is to collect at most 6 cards with a total value of at least 21. Okay, you get new and better cards by exchanging with the market. Play a set from your hand, 1 + 2. You may take all single cards from the market with the same value. So all the 3s. So you can play the 1 and the 2 down. You get all the 3s, and then you can break down your 6 into like 1, 1, and 4, or 2 3s. So that later on, then you can exchange those 2 3s again for all the 6s in the market. That's how it would go, basically. Rulebook is right after the explanation, and is on BGG, which apparently is less wordy than your explanation on your Kickstarter page. Well, but they go in the discard pile. That's important to note. Whenever you put cards from your hand, they go into the discard pile, and then you refill the market. So you can't bank on additional 6s being there if you were to do that little 3 for 3. You know what I mean? The 6 for the 2 3s, that goes in the discard pile, but there still will be a 6 there. So as long as your opponent doesn't take it, and maybe more 6s will come up, then you can scoop them all up. Or you can just pass, add 1 card from your hand, face up to the row on the table, and you draw 2 cards from the draw pile. So you basically get to throw away a 1 to get much better cards. Oh, okay, so this is how you add it to your collection. So your collection is different from your hand. That wasn't clear in this, that your collection and your hand is different. And so in order to win the game, you have to add these cards to your collection. So you're doing that to then get cards that you can put into your collection, and in order to put a card in your collection, you need to use sets. So in order to put a 3 down, you need to have 3 3s. So you need to get rid of the 3s, and you put down a 3, right? And you can only have 6 cards in your collection. So don't waste your cards like an idiot. Yeah, it's all right. How much is it, though? 15? 12 euro. Okay, great. There's only 11 out of 50 there, and then 13 euros. You have to pick up at Spiel. Or another one, 14 euro. Does it keep going up? Yeah. Or 3 for 2, 2 + 1 for free. So 14 euros, 15 US. Great. I was hoping it'd be 15, and I expected it to be 20. However, the shipping makes it 12 euro for a single copy to the US, 4 shipping, 4 euros to Netherlands and Belgium, or 7 shipping to the Europe or the UK. So again, it's like 21, it's like $30 Canadian. I mean, it doesn't even ship to Canada. 26, like, you're looking at 26 euro, that's like 30 US, that's like 40 Canadian. That's a bit much, right? I don't see it really being that dynamic a game, but seems fun enough. Would be a fun enough way to pass the time, right? Like a decent enough card game for sure. Try it out on Board Game Arena and see if you like it. That finishes Friday, August 4th at 4 p.m. Moving along to Find the Fun, Game Design Resources, which is a book, a game, and other goodies to help you design great games people love. What's exciting to me is the potential book, not necessarily the game about game design, but let's check out both. Charming conversational video about this guy's experience. Find the Fun, book and game, $10 for the digital files. I'd love to see a little excerpt though. That's what I want. Click here to read the first chapter. Oh, you knew what I want. You know what I want, Gabe. Gabe, please, Gabe. Gabe, you don't have to tell everybody that's what I want. Right? I told you that in confidence. Oh, I'm now very nervous to read what's in this first chapter. It's Gabe exposing all of my wants everywhere. How I would like to find the fun wherever I am. Great. 6 pages of the 19 are advertisements. Let's see. Oh, good. And then we have the table of contents. Great. So that's another up to 10 pages. Let's see. Chapter 1. Well, reads a bit more like a self-help book than like any actionable advice in that introduction. I found the one that was over on GameFound a lot more interesting to read, a lot more conversational, a little bit funnier. This is a nice table of contents, though. I bet I could write a game or a book based upon these table of contents, though. You know, I think there are enough resources out here now that this may not be that great. But hey, read the first chapter and see if it hooks you. And if you want to listen to other designers, well, you can check out the WSBG Designer Series that I host, where I've talked to Martin Wallace, Ryan Knizia, and those were some fun interviews. The Find the Fun game is a 20-minute solo experience about creating a game and pitching it to publishers, where you're going to roll some dice. Let's see. All right, so you're going to be drawing these cards out into the card row where they will generate resources for you, but they also cost resources, and so you're trying to chain those things together, and then they let you do different things like move yourself a bit closer to the convention season, and you need to get to the convention and then roll your energy dice. These white dice represent your energy dice, and you can spend them on certain things, but watch out if a prototype or a playtest comes up and you don't have the energy for it, well, you better have planned better than that. Seems okay. I'm not much of a solo gamer, and it's a solo game, so that's my cop-out of me saying I think it just looks fine. But you know what? $10 for a print and play-ish for the Find the Fun for both of them. I don't know. Check it out if that seems interesting to you. That finishes Saturday, August 5th at 1:59 a.m. I gotta move on to the next one so I don't feel bad when I say it. It doesn't really sound that interesting to me. But let's move along to Ding Dong. This witch is still alive. Join the Halloween fun, collect candy sets, manage resources, masterfully use your cards, and out-prank the little tricksters. The little tricksters. So if I'm getting this right, and I think I am, the premise of this game is that you don't want to give away any of your candy. You bought it at Halloween. You didn't wait until November 1st to get it 50% off. You bought it Halloween, you opened your doors, but instead you want to scare the children that are coming your way and either kidnap them, because it seems like you're adding them to your hand, or scare them away. But you don't really want to scare them away, because if you do, you have to use candy to send them down to the next door so that they could be scared by somebody else. It seems like a horrible neighborhood that nobody should let their kids roam free in, and perhaps that's the goal. 2 to 9 players? Oh no, you do not want to play this with 9 players. Come on. Also, having 6 out of 10, I know it's stretch goals unlocked, but it kind of looks like that's the score you're giving your own game. 5 minutes per player. Yeah, assume the role of grumpy adults that want to scare as many kids as possible away from their homes and onto their neighbors. That's pretty funny. Each player gets a player board. Each round, a kid is coming to prank you. It's not Halloween. The pranking happens on Devil's Night, all right? Let's be clear. The tricks happen before the treats. Or at least that's always been mine and Maggie's experience. And so they're going to prank you. They're going to prank you by ringing your doorbell and running away because they're ringing it. They don't want candy. They don't want candy. They're just ring your doorbell and run away. Unless you scare them with your creepy decorations. They're like, I was going to ring that doorbell. But that person has an umbrella over an orange. I think it's a spider web. Or you can bribe them with candy to make them prank someone else. There's the crux of the matter. Or you can play some nifty cards from your hand, bringing all kinds of chaos. And when you scare them, you basically just, you steal them off the street. Not only you're scaring them, I know how you really give them a scare. Kidnapping. I love whenever games do this. I saw this first in Chili Mafia. Family or gamer? Luck or strategy? Calm or energetic? I think this tells you all you need to know about it. Good job. It's on Tabletop Simulator. Doesn't have a link to Tabletop Simulator, but you know, it's on Tabletop Simulator. 21 bucks. And then there's a bunch of expansions that you do not need. Are you going to give me a rulebook at all? Probably not. Maybe. All right, we're back. Sweatier Chris than before, but that's okay. What the heck? And it's only £4? That's really cool. You get a whole graphic novel, and you can get it for £4, $7 Canadian, for a full roll and write campaign game. Cool. Or £35, $60 Canadian for a physical copy. I mean, if you can print it cheaper, they're giving you the components. Spiral bound books with dry erase. Yeah, cool. See, the name's a joke because these people actually do know the tech that they're hacking into. Presumably. I mean, I haven't seen it. I mean, the graphic novel, like, this seems really cool, like really well drawn and etc. And if you just like graphic novels that are kind of playable, that feels really neat. Yeah, give me the rulebook. Rulebook, a third down the page, 12 pages. Cool. Yeah, you'll be introduced to the new rules as you read through the graphic novel. Read through the graphic novel, then read the pages that the rulebook tells you to read. You'll see the rulebook icon. Each game involves hacking into an individual's NED's neural network, trying to do as much damage to its systems as possible and then escaping before the timer runs out. And the NED's countermeasures kick into action. You roll 4 dice. One is always going to be sort of a time tracker. The others you can do stuff with. Okay, kind of reminds me a bit of Rolling Realms in terms of the credits and resources that you're going to use, or you're going to acquire rather, and then you can use it for different things. So like, for example, you've got a credit, use 1 credit to duplicate any of the hacking dice that have been rolled. Or 2 credits can create a whole new hacking dice, right? So chaining things together to get these little bits of energy is going to be how the game proceeds. Oh, cool. And then the clock, if you use a higher number, you can deal more damage to the Ned, that friggin' Ned. So you're going to move your piece around this little map, trying to hack in things using your dice effectively. Right, here's an example of the Ned module where you might start, and then you're going to move it around, move your piece around, and use your dice to get there. And these little yellow things indicate the type of switches that need to be flipped on or off. So in this case, switches 4 and 6 need to be on. That's what the and does. Okay. So you can do it competitively or cooperatively. Person with the most damage points wins. You get damage points by completing a number of the different things on the board. You can do it from easy, medium, hard, depending on the module. Cool, so you're completing the rows and crossing things off. Yeah, all right. I think that's pretty neat. I think especially the friggin' print and play, like if you're at all interested in this, that's great. I don't know if, I mean, it's going to be $60 Canadian plus shipping. Shipping being $9 to the US, £7 to the UK, €7 to the EU, Canada $10, right? So it'll be like $72. That's a steep price for a roll and write if you're getting the physical copy. But I love that this is just so readily available in 207. Like it feels like the print and play is the way to go here. Absolutely. And I think if you got the print and play, you'd probably have yourself a good time. So if that interests you, surprises me. I mean, I guess it doesn't surprise me that the funding goal isn't as high because the print and play is so cheap, and that's probably the way to go. But there's 207 on the print and play, and then 538 on the actual physical copy. So enough people are excited about this. They want the physical copy without any of the hassle, which I totally get, because the print and play, if you get it, I mean, it's going to sit in your inbox and you're going to forget about it and never do anything with it. So yeah, definitely check that out. The finish is Saturday, August 5th at 1 p.m. Moving along to another roll and write. This one, you can be the manager of the craziest canteen in the city with Crazy Canteen. €3. Let's see. Canteen is a roll and write that you can print at home each time you want. This canteen is different to others. Employees are not allowed to go together in small groups, and they can't keep the same fixed place or table companions every day. Wow, so it is just a horrible futuristic, more futuristic than Luddite. This is a place where people cannot gather or they will start to get ideas. Cool, you can download the original one under the name Crazy Canteen Cafeteria Edition, and your goal is to get the most satisfaction points. Roll 3 dice and get 3 scores. Go to CEO. Those will be the models that the CEO want to find in his visit, of course. I couldn't have said it better myself. Every round, roll 2 dice to get 2 numbers. Go to guest box and select number 1 for a row, number 2 for a column. The intersections provide you 2 options of employees to choose. And of course, every employee has a favorite dessert and an action to do. You need to consider both in your decision. Because what's slurping down a sundae without doing some cartwheels, right? That's what I always say. That's it. I would recommend going to get Crazy Canteen Cafeteria Edition, because that'll probably be a better indicator than just purchasing right now. I'm not quite sure what those rules meant, but it means you're going to use your numbers for a column, etc. So you use 1 dice, use one of the 3 dice to go to the CEO, and then you use your other 2 dice to determine the employees, right? I think that's what they're going for. Hey, but if you like Print and Plays, check it out. That finishes Monday, August 7th at 1 p.m. Moving along to Wolves, a semi-cooperative game for 3 to 6 players about community survival from indigenous creators. Let's see what this one's all about. Intrigued. I'm intrigued by the semi-co-op idea that if one of you fails to, it's kind of like Crisis in a way, because if one person fails to stay above the economy, then the game over. Then the game ends, right? So this is a similar thing. You all need to survive through the winter. If one of you doesn't, nobody wins. If you all do, then the person who is gifted away the most stuff wins, or who is the most influential really wins. I do like that rulebooks are right at the top of the page after this little brief explanation. Love that. Let's see. So I have a couple specific questions I want addressed. One being, you can turn down gifts given to you, which is interesting. The other is saying, they said you can draw from your own deck, and it's kind of a push your luck thing, and so I want to see the penalty for extending yourself too short. I do see a situation where if you're playing with somebody who's obnoxious, they could say, no, I'm not accepting any gifts because they're losing, and then they just die, and then everybody technically loses, but then you could just say, hey, no, you lost, we all won, because you're being miserable to play with. Okay, so you have a number of cards in your deck. Do they say how many up here? 28 cards each in your deck, and you want to draw cards, but you want to stop before you draw the 3rd leader card. And if you do draw a 3rd leader card, because some will be leaders, some will be resources, if you draw your 3rd leader card, that's how you're overstretched. And overstretched is bad. Oh, wow, and if you overstretch, you cannot draw cards the next round, which is huge. Cool, so there's that fun little push your luck thing in which you are required to just accept gifts. Oh, and just leader cards are wild. That's it. Okay, and this is kind of interesting too. If the gifting player has a lower status rank than the recipient must accept the entire gift. So there's a way to be like, hey, I'll give you what you need, but I'm going to give you more than what you need so that I can move up on the track. Oh, and there's just a bunch of forest cards which don't do anything, so that you don't know exactly how many resources everybody has in their hands. So there you go, just a give and take of just pushing your luck with the deck and then trying to convince people to accept gifts from you. How much is it? $55, 73 Canadian. No, I don't think so. Because what's shipping? Shipping to the US and Canada. Shipping will be charged. You can get it local in Edmonton, Alberta. That's cool. Do you have an approximate shipping? You don't. And there's no friggin' shipping estimate. That's so stupid. If you're shipping it from a warehouse, give us a damn shipping estimate. No, honestly, it doesn't look interesting enough to warrant that higher price point. It just seems fine. I think there are better negotiation games out there, but art looks nice. Anyway, if that interests you, that finishes Monday, August 7th at 10 p.m. Moving along to a big one, Cyclades, if you nasty. The Legendary Edition. Join the ultimate evolution of this famous development, territory control, and auction board game by Bruno Cathala and Ludovic Maublanc. Yeah, Kemet did it. Inish hasn't done it yet, but probably will. And Cyclades is here. Let's see what the Legendary Edition has in store. One thing that I do love is that they were super shady in their updates. They said something like, oh yeah, people have been asking for these specific counters, and we'll make them for you as a stretch goal. But we also want to say how pointless they would be to the actual gameplay experience, and we think that people who are suggesting it have never played the game before and just want deluxe stuff and are pretty stupid. That was basically the brief, which I thought was so funny and makes me want to get this game. So let's see. Okay, fine. Maybe it's Cyclades, because that's how they say it in the video. I think I think that's wrong, right? It's got to be one of the two that I was saying. All right, Cyclades, I see you. Although Cyclades is also what the internet is saying, and Keyclothes is also what Google says right away. We're gonna go with whatever people shout loudly about in the comments. So just pretend I said that one. All right, what's this gonna be? 120? There's also a Meeples pledge. Oh girl. Oh girl. Oh no. Oh no. All right, let's keep going. This looks good. Let's see if they have a rule book. But that was a great video. Really was very clear. And I think because I already am familiar with Inish and Kemet, I get the multiple ways to win. I do love that it has multiple ways to win, kind of like Lords of Hellas as well. You're pursuing, and Inish, really, you're pursuing all of these different potentials of winning at the same time. You're going to be getting money, which you then can use to bid on your actions until everybody has either maxed it out or bid on one different god. That'll decide your actions. And this is the whole new game, putting the director's cut, combining the original game and many expansions into renewed, more epic, more thrilling gameplay experience through an updated gameplay. Miniature pledge, €100. That makes sense. That's what I was expecting. I mean, I was expecting like 120 US, isn't that what I said? And it's 110 US, so pretty good. Basically, like, come on, if you want the minis. But like 50%, you get the meeples. It's not 50%, it's 60%. I know this. I mean, it's 59%. I know this, but feels like 50%. Modular game board is really cool. 6 gods instead of the 5 original. That's cool. Free mandatory construction actions for the gods that considerably speed up the overall game time and interaction. Cool. Shorter and more dynamic bidding phases. All right. I'm really intrigued. I mean, everybody's going for this ultimate pledge where you get a bunch of plastic metropoli, I believe is the correct term. Well, I'm obsessed with this minis pledge, and it's cool that like basically the minis pledge and the meeple pledge rather have about the same number of people backing, 489 and 492, right? 3 more for the meeple pledge. Yeah, I want to see what these cool, like having custom meeples for the monsters too. That would be cool. Oh, meeples, you're just getting you're getting standees. Sure, who cares? I don't need more plastic. Yeah. Meeples and standees, you just get your standees, you get creature tokens, and then you get your factions. Yeah, don't care. 100 metal coins for €30? As far as metal coins go, that's actually probably all right. Like, I get wanting to have the minis, but it feels like in this one specifically, I don't think you need it. I'm really interested. I mean, I play a lot of area control, so, like, you gotta calm down and talk yourself out of this, really. But I love potentially supporting this. Uh-oh. Oh no. I think I broke the seal. I think I really broke the seal on like backing things, and I need to remind myself to slow down and just take a break. This is a good one though. All right. But where's the rule book? That's the point. We're still scrolling down. The how to play is over halfway down the page, like 2/3 is not something I like to see. I mean, I really did enjoy the video though. Like I felt it gave me everything I really needed to know. I don't have any glaring questions. I mean, I guess I'll have the questions of what the actions actually are, but I don't think that'll necessarily change something. I think because I played Inish, I know the feel of this. But yeah, you can build or conquer metropolises in 4 different ways. Control 4 different buildings. Okay, now I do have questions because I thought this was how you win the game. Recruit 4 philosophers. Sacrifice a hero to activate his power, or conquer another player's metropolis. Yeah, you're going to collect gold from wherever you are. That makes sense. And you're going to offer them to the gods to take your actions. Yes, we know that. So Ares is about moving your troops. I love the sort of asymmetry of action choice that you do get, though. That does seem interesting to me. Ares is about moving your troops. Poseidon is about creating and moving ships. Athena is about recruiting a philosopher. Hera is about recruiting mercenary troops and recruiting a hero, or also sacrificing a hero to build a metropolis. Okay. And Zeus is giving you priestesses, and your priestess will give you a discount on your bids. Yeah, this is a really lovely campaign page. And then Apollo will sing your praises and bring you indispensable income for the following rounds, and you'll be the first player in the next round. All right, so if you don't want to do anything, you can kind of forfeit it, but probably won't pick you Apollo. It is cool, though. You can really see everything does say build a mandatory temple, build a mandatory this, build a mandatory that, and all of those are going to influence and shape the map. And all these buildings do different things. So it says ports increase your strength of your fleets, fortresses increase the strength of your troops. So how you navigate and win is up to you. Cool. Rulebook is on the page, though. Love it. Great. And not a long rulebook either. Yeah, that makes sense. Seems pretty straightforward, right? Like when it comes down to it, Kemet, Inish, and I think Cyclades very kind of simple to learn. Like there's not a lot of ins and outs here, but the playing of it actually ends up being pretty dense and exciting. And I also love that your gold is hidden too. I think that's a key element to the game. Oh, and you also, if you're controlling mythological creatures, you can keep them, but you need priestesses to sacrifice to them, I guess. Slurp up those priestesses. You gotta feed them some priestesses or they won't stay with you. I've always known this about mythological creatures. I've been saying it for years. Where do you think the bears got their ideas from? You're not minotaurs, bears. Ridiculous. Oh, cool. And then the gods rotate too, the gods cycle. So the abilities that you can take are also interchanging. That's cool. That's something I really did not expect. Because it matters that whoever's won the offerings on the first god, the furthest from Apollo, will perform the actions. And so like that's gonna come into play for sure. Okay, cool. And then the end of the cycle, the game ends if one or more players control 3 or more metropolises, and or if a player has been eliminated during this cycle. So battling is pretty simple. You add up your force and you chuck some dice, I think. Yeah, you chuck 1 dice to add a variable amount of strength to your fleet. It looks like it's 0 to 2. Oh, 0 to 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. There's a 3 on there. So I like that. I like that you can plan. I like that there's a bit of randomness. Yeah, this feels like it's kind of a home run, really. And so you're creating these metropolises, and you want to hold control of the metropolises too. And then at the end of the game, the winner's player controls the most metropolises. And if there's a tie, the person who has the most money left over wins. Cool. Yeah, this looks great. I don't know the difference between the original, but I don't care. Let's see what this shipping is. Tempt me. Please tempt me. You're not tempting me whatsoever. There we go. There's the cold water splashed all over me. The Meeple's pledge to get to Canada is like 30 to 34 euro. To get to the US, it's 26 to 30. So really, this is a 89 euro, over $100 to get the Meeple's pledge. I'm cooled. If I could have gotten it for 87, I wonder if the Meeple's pledge will be in stores though. Probably not. In a retail adapted version. We'll focus on shipping every pledge to their backers before the game comes out in retail. Okay, cool. So there'll be a bit of an adapted version for retail. That's cool. I'm glad it's coming back as this legendary edition. This is one that I'm for sure going to look for. Maybe it's not. The shipping, I mean, you know what I'm going to say. It's too much shipping. I mean, it's not. It's what it costs, and I appreciate that, right? And they could easily have raised their price and then charged more for shipping or less for shipping, and it would have seemed the same, right? And I appreciate that they didn't do that. I recognize it takes what it takes, but still, although I know there's a group buy. Uh-oh. Okay, phew. No group buy, although they're doing a pretty good group buy. Buy 10 games and receive 12. Buy 20 and receive 25. That's a pretty good group buy. But they've hit their 12, and it doesn't look like people are going to the 25 or the 20, which is nice. And also, I don't want the ultimate pledge. So okay, I'm tempted. My temptation is gone. Oh, this is Colin. He's just signed up for Board Game Geek. I was seeing if I could have added him as a friend because I don't know Board Game Geek that well. My temptation is gone, but if you're still tempted, that finishes next Tuesday, August 8th at 5 p.m. Moving along to Honey Hop, our last of the week. Finally, somebody is saying the things that I've always wanted them to say to me, which is, you are the queen of your hive. Your loyal bees must work together to collect nectar from flowers in the garden and produce honey. And yes, I've been waiting for you, my loyal bees. I've been desperate for it. Go and get me some nectar for this queen bee. Move over, Beyonce, because it's room and bee here in town. Let's see what this one's like. I'm not... No, we'll see. We'll see. I try not to judge right beforehand, but I'm not hopeful. He says as he immediately judges beforehand. That got really dark at the end there. It says, yeah, at the end of the year, when you've waited 12 months and winter has finally come, as the months work in that way, the hive that's collected the most honey will be the only one who will live to see the next year. Sorry, other hives, you dead. All right, it's a very simple pick up and deliver. You go around this little board and you flip over flowers and you hope to find nectar and then bring it back to your bee nest. That's it. You can take 3 actions. You do any combination of the following. Move, collect nectar from another flower or another player's hives. Yikes. Collect a card or make honey. Oh, wow. The movement is very aggressive and very long. You can move in a straight line until you reach an obstacle, which could be another bee, and then you bump that bee into another bee, and then you bump that bee into another bee, and it creates a bee chain reaction. They're all buzzing around, bumping into each other. If you get stuck in rain, you can't move, which sounds like something that I would hate. Collecting nectar. You can collect nectar from both the flowers in the field and other bees' hives. You can only carry up to 2 pieces of nectar and must carry them home to convert them to nectar. I'm assuming that they meant convert them to honey. And convert them to honey, 3 pieces of nectar can be turned into honey once you brought it back. Nectar from 3 different flower types gives you 3 victory points. Nectar from 2 different flower types gives you 2 victory points. Nectar from 1 flower type gives you 1 victory point. And I guess the victory points are your honey. That's a bit confusing. But I'm assuming you need the nectar to be diverse when you're converting. So if you want to be efficient with those actions and you want to load them up, as you probably do, then you would leave them in your hive, but then that encourages other bees to just fly into your hive and take them and run them back. So you just then convert them, I guess. Oh, honey, hot. Let's see if you've got a potential shipping here. Only ships to the United States. All right, that would have been good to know. And it's $15. So 55 total. I just, where's the full rule book? I guess this is it. But I'm curious as to like when the nectar comes out on the tiles. I'm curious as to when the rain ever comes out. They mentioned this little weather board that, I don't know, is that when new nectar appears at these locations? Maybe. 3 actions feels like an awful lot because of how much you can move. And when nectar's on a bee, you can't really steal it from that bee. So it's just a race to get that nectar, right? Like it just feels like there's not enough information here to make a decision. And it feels like it would just be fine. But if you're interested in that, check that out. It finishes Thursday, August 8th at 10:17 p.m. And that's it. That is it for this week. It was a surprisingly longer week than I expected with so few campaigns. Nothing really over on GameFound, nothing really on Backer Kit. But we did have some stuff here. There was some fun stuff. So every week I have a pick for me and a pick for you. Pick for me being the thing that I am the most interested in. And the pick for you is the thing that I think you should get. Because it's probably okay. And I do have a pick for me and a pick for you. It was touch and go this week. Really, other than this, I don't see anything worth talking about whatsoever. But my pick for me, my pick for me is going to be Cyclades. It is. I think it looks good. I think when it gets to retail, it's something that I should really consider adding to my collection. It's, what is it on Board Game Geek? Yeah, 217 on BGG. It just looks good. This new streamlined edition feels cool. And I really wish the Meeple Pledge would make its way into retail. It probably won't, but there's probably going to be something in at retail that hopefully will cost me less than $120, $130. I'd like to pay $80 for this instead. So hopefully that happens when it gets to retail. Who knows? But that's definitely my pick for me. That's what I'm the most excited about. My pick for you, I think, is going to be the Luddite print and play. I don't think it's the physical copy, because I think that's a bit too expensive. But if you like print and plays, I think you're going to get you're going to get your £4 worth, right? You're going to get your $7 Canadian worth. I'm not sure you're going to get your $60 Canadian plus shipping, which is why I'm hesitant, but it just seems like a neat concept. And I really am a fan of Cogito Ergo Meeple, and I just kind of trust in them. Yeah, definitely that would be the pick for you. Other than that, nothing. Not even the not safe for anyone? No, it's not. Not even that. All right, team. It's time to figure out who the MINDBUG winner is. Let's do it. We're going to the YouTube comment picker, filter duplicate users. Wow, look at all these different settings that they've got now. You can be a premium user. That's not for me. I'm just a little basic little worm. Oh, I should tell you, I didn't tell you this. I absolutely loved, like, all of the comments. Really great bugs. Really great bugs, everybody. You should give yourselves a huge round of applause, because I've taken so much enjoyment over the past week seeing what slippery little bugs you all are. If I was a bug, I would be, you know, the bugs from the animated Lion King that Timon and Pumbaa slurp down? Yeah, the delicious looking gooey slurpy ones. That's the type of bug that I would be. But we see we have 155 unique comments, and one of you is going to win a copy of MINDBUG right now. Also, stay tuned this week. I will get the MINDBUG review out this week. I know I said I would have already gotten it, but I didn't. I think I have to have my tonsils removed, so that's what I'm dealing with. Let's check it out. Who's gonna win? Which of you, the slimy little bugs, are gonna win right now? Let's see. I hope you. Boom, we have Tony Ramos, who says, I'd be a robber fly with the superpower of being able to dodge rain. Honestly, great choice, Tony. Fantastic choice. Congratulations. Tony, get in contact with me down below, roomandboardreviews@gmail.com. Send me a message. We'll confirm your identity, although I don't want to confirm your secret identity. Clearly, you are the robber fly that's been going around and saving humanity. Congratulations to Tony. And if you didn't win this copy of MINDBUG, well, you better check out the review on MINDBUG, because I'm going to do another giveaway over there. That's going to happen this week. But now back to past Chris with I guess an outro. Probably an outro. Okay. Thanks for being here. I'm excited that you're all here. I'm excited that we're into episode 101 and on to many more crowdfunding countdowns. Maybe at some point I will shave my mustache, because my beard is getting very, very, very full. Very full. Well, that's what happens when you're a strong clam. Anyway, I appreciate you being here. Let me know what you are excited about, what you're not. I always like hearing from you. That's it. Go away. My name's Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase, but I'm going to go get a drink of water and a bite to eat. Goodbye.